Arpatz's second run as the legendary Caped Crusader is in the works, and there's speculation as to which member of his rogues gallery he'll be facing next. But if we go off of one villain theory doing the rounds right now, Bats may really have his hands full and will desperately need to upgrade his classic suit. Matt Reeves' Gotham is much gloomier than other versions before it, with the city filled with rain, angst, and Nirvana soundtracks. And for the sequel, he's going to need another villain to match this dark and somber tone, meaning he is probably going to stick away from the Dark Knight's greatest nemesis, Bat Nips. As mentioned, many people have tried to guess who Batman will be punching into oblivion next, with there being possible returns for Colin Farrell's Penguin, Paul Dano's Riddler, and Barry Keoghan's Joker.
God, what are you showing me? His head. Come on! Open your eyes!
But new faces have also been discussed, such as Clayface, Bane, and my personal favorite, the Court of Owls. Cause who doesn't want to see Batman scrapping it out with an army of Talons? But with Bats' suit damaged and a majority of Gotham now underwater after being flooded by the Riddler, this could pave the way for the perfect villain to step in and put the Bat on ice. We are, of course, talking about Mr. Freeze, a villain who can not just match Batman for brains like the Riddler did, but physically as well. While Mr. Freeze, or Victor Freeze, is more on the fantastical side of villainy, and a pun-wielding Arnie won't exactly work in this world, there are ways of making the character a bit more grounded, and, without spoiling anything, Freeze's backstory involving cryogenics is heartbreaking, and if done right, could add some legitimate emotional weight to the story.
Batman, you still live, but only for a short time.
Now, even for the most uninitiated Batman fan, you can guess what Mr. Freeze's powers are. And, with Gotham flooded, why that might be a problem with the potential that the ice-loving maniac freezes all the water and turns the city into his very own frozen paradise like a blue-skinned Elsa. But Batman isn't likely to let it go, and will be looking for any way to take down his cool new foe and to stop this new ice age, and that will likely mean upgrading his suit. So far, we've only seen the one stripped-back, almost mechanical Batsuit in Arpatz's universe, but there have been a plethora of various Batsuits to appear in other movies, such as Batfleck's beefed-up mecha suit to fight Superman, Keaton's variety of suits in the Flash movie, and did we mention the bat nipples from Batman and Robin yet? Therefore, it is pretty feasible to believe that Arpatz will also look to add a second suit to his collection, and he will need one with very particular powers if he's going to beat Mr. Freeze, one that can nullify the cryosuit that Freeze needs to survive. Thankfully, Arpatz can go to the comics for inspiration. It took a surprisingly long time for the world's smartest detective to figure it out, but in Batman One Bad Day, Mr. Freeze, anticipating an attack from Freeze, Batman develops a new suit that he dubs the Sun Suit, which is very much like Freeze's cryosuit, but with one major difference. Instead of generating ice, it generates fire. Because of course, what better way to beat ice powers than fire? But not only does the fiery Sunsuit have the ability to generate flames, it also has a number of bombs that can distract and turn up the heat on Freeze. If Arpatz can create a suit that incorporates these flame abilities, then he should be able to handle the threat of his icy nemesis. Although it must be said that Arpatz's version of the character is a lot more low-tech than other variations. But hey, maybe he can outsource it and put it on the Bat credit card.
Never leave the cave without it.
What could be really cool though, is if Bats inadvertently creates a new villain. What if, while battling his potential new nemesis of Mr. Freeze, his flame abilities accidentally burns Harvey Dent, creating the villain we all know and love, Two-Face. It's not exactly canon, but it could be pretty cool, right? And even if Mr. Freeze is the primary antagonist, that doesn't mean there isn't room for another villain, with Reeves doubling up already. Perhaps Farrell's Penguin could also have a part to play in this story, and in fact, Penguin did capture Mr. Freeze in Arkham City, so you never know. But is there any further evidence that Mr. Freeze may actually be appearing in the Batman sequel? Well, there is no smoke without fire, or in this case, steam without boiling water, and Matt Reeves is reportedly interested in bringing the character back to the big screen. But he has also been interested in bringing in a number of villains for the sequel, so we do have to take that with a pinch of salt. But who should play Mr. Freeze if he indeed is the villain for the Batman sequel? Well, let me break the ice. Something tells me it is unlikely that Arnie will be reprising the role, and it will be more likely that they would opt for a more classically trained actor with an air of menace. Hollywood's go-to villains Mads Mikkelsen, Giancarlo Esposito, Ralph Fiennes, Christoph Waltz, Jason Isaacs, and Bryan Cranston have all been linked, but my personal favorites would be Ben Kingsley and Christopher Eccleston, both who have played villains in the MCU to admittedly mixed reviews. Well, kind of, in Kingsley's case. Kingsley certainly has the resume to play such a nuanced and menacing character, while Eccleston, in my mind at least, needs redemption after his underutilized role as Malekith in Thor: The Dark World. But hey, that might just be me.
Yes. Yes.
For now, we will just have to wait and see whether or not there are legs to this theory. But if Mr. Freeze does in fact make his way to a flooded Gotham, our Pats will certainly have his hands full. And his bat nips hard as rocks.